Kamen Rider Build.
Hey YouTube, Kamen Rider here with my review of Power Rangers, well not Power Rangers, Kamen Rider Build episode 26. I'm about to film a Power Rangers related video after this, so I was already on it. I got the shirt ready. You might be able to figure out what video it is depending on when it comes out. I don't know. Timelines. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Anyhow, 26. I believe it was 26. If the number's wrong, I'll change it later. And probably get it wrong, and then change it again. But after 3 times, I'll get it right. Anyway, this episode was solid. I do have one, significant gripe with it, which I feel like is my first significant gripe with Build in a while. And I guess I'll start with that. Is the reveal of, revealed, confirmed, is the fandom's use of the words revealed and confirmed. Like, settle down. Not everything's revealed and confirmed, no. But is who the mole is. Celebrity Mole. Remember that show? Anyway, I'm getting weird in this one already. Last week we foreshadowed it, and it ended up being Reporter Girl again, and I don't like that for a couple reasons. A, we already did this, where she's like, oh, I betrayed you, and then they kind of forgave her, like, oh, you're okay-ish with us now, and then she's betraying him again. And also, we already had, we did that before, but then we already had our big, sort of, member of the team betrayal, which was Stalk. And I feel like we're retreading things twice. Now, it's only just happened. So, for all I know, within the next few episodes or by the end of the series, they could shift it to where it's not as annoying. Like with X-Aid, I was kind of annoyed with when they were doing the mystery of M's stuff. They're like, oh, he had not 1 surgery, but 2! Oh my god, 2 surgeries, big plot twist! And I was really annoyed at that because it felt like, oh, they're just trying to make things twisty. And they're like, well, what's a twisty idea? What if he had 2 surgeries? And then that wound up kind of being fixed. I still was annoyed a little bit at the execution of it, but they wound up explaining it in a better way later when, we found out about Paradox and stuff and how he worked. So, again, not perfect, and this isn't an X-Aid review, but my point with that is that even though it wasn't perfect, by the time the story played out, it made sense why they did it. So it's too early to be completely condemning it because it literally just happened in the last half of the episode, so we still have half a series practically to go that they could justify this decision. It just seems kind of repetitive, and in this series where we've been getting a lot of good plot twists and reveals of the plot, it just feels weird to have this sluggish retread. And it's mainly about the fact that we already did a storyline that with her, but I think the one betrayal of Stalk was significant enough. And we did get to see her with the weird military cult that Seto has, so that's a thing. And again, this is something that'll probably pay off next week, or I hope it does, but Sento seemed suspicious of her. She's like, so, you said your last name was Smith, but it's Smithy. And she's like, oh, that's because, and so she seems suspicious, or he seems suspicious of her, but yet she was still downloading the data on the new forms. But unless Sento was just stupid and we were meant to think he was suspicious when he wasn't, I get the feeling something's gonna happen, the data's corrupted, or she's gonna get rickrolled or something. But we'll see. But again, these are things that it's hard to say or condemn things about it because it could all be flipped on its head by the next episode. But that was really my only nitpick with that. Other than that, I liked most of the stuff involving the episode. The 2 primary things is we're setting up basically another tournament with, this time between Toto and Seto. And it honestly, the last one was similar setup, except it was just Grease versus Build, and this is a full-on, we have Grease versus Gear Bro 1 and Claus versus Gear Bro 2, and then, Rogue versus Build. It feels like a tournament arc in a battle anime. But so that was one of the main things. We got to see a fight with Grease and with one of the Gear Brothers, and he was determined because I lost my Yu-Gi-Oh friends, and then he won. And then the episode cliffhangered on Claus about to go up against the other guy, but he's debuting the new fusion dance form. So that was kind of cool. I liked that just because the end of last episode and then this episode was about building the storyline for Rabbit Rabbit Tank Tank. And I like that I like the pacing of the form reveals. It's steady. It's not just oh boom, here's a new form toy. It's okay, we actually have a storyline involving this. So we got the debut of the look at the gadget, but we didn't see the form yet. And the debut of this episode was that Gear Brothers thing, the Hell Bros or whatever. So I liked that. And like that was cool. I like the setup for that. There was a good fight with Grease. I like the segue into what's probably going to be Claw's defeat, because it just kind of makes sense. Like, it's going to be, I can just, who knows, they could change it, but I get the feeling Claus is going to lose, and then, you know, Build's new form is going to win him against Rogue. But yeah, the other thing was making the new thing, and Misora went in to analyze it, and there was a really funny moment where it almost seemed like it was going to be a clip show, and like Sento and Ryuga were narrating these events like they do in the openings, which was really funny. He was like, check out that hunk and stuff like that, and then Misora just stopped him. So I thought that was funny just because it was funny, and also because it almost made you think, oh, clip show, and then Misora just stopped it. And they went into a little bit like, well, what makes the best match? And they kind of vaguely were like, oh, inorganic, organic, and I get a feeling we might actually get a really clear answer about a lot of these things later, which is, I mean, if we don't, it won't be the biggest thing, but I'd love for them to go more into that, because that's something they usually kind of gloss over, but we might get more in depth about like Rabbit Tank, why this, and stuff like that. But then it comes out with her making a second rabbit bottle, which is basically white with a little red bit in the middle, like, you know, the liquid or whatever's in there. And I keep thinking it's also just plastic like the toys, but they use the belt like they would, like you would a toy. Like if I had the toy right here and was using it, and it didn't work. And that's why he makes the device to essentially handle the synergy between two of the same bottle. So yeah, I like the way that's done, and I also like that it isn't something that was, oh look, I found this file on the flash drive, it's labeled Rabbit Tank Tank. But yeah, again, I said but yeah like 3 times. This was a solid episode. I like the way that they're handling the introduction of the new forms in terms of taking their time and actually getting us to see like how it's developed, and I like the new setup for the tournament. I just am not a fan of the betrayal reveal. Again, my tune could totally change by next week. I want to see how it plays out, but for right now, it's like my first significant disappointment with Build in some time. I'd overall give this episode an 8. Anyway, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's Dawson Rider, signing out.